Um, I was in the emergency room today. Don't know why I had a seizure. Probably because of all the stress she put me under, on top of me being sick, um, with sinusitis. But just admit to you, you just wish that I admit to you that I'm a gang stalker. Really? Your mind is so fixated. You are so fixated on carrying on this narrative to fulfill this goal that you're trying to achieve. While you're saying that you don't know why I keep making videos about you, but you're steady making videos about me and saying that you're not taking them down and you have so much more to expose about me. Why you ain't did it already? It's because you make up as you go. And I'm not going to say I'm getting tired because I've been tired. And I've been knowing that you're not going to stop, but it finally hit me. You're not going to stop. You're telling your followers that I'm talking trash about you. No. I threw my children in the trash. And you talking about people say this and people say that. Um, you're not aware that she's basically saying she goes around obsessively talking about me like a dog to random strangers, pretty much slandering me and spreading rumors, and they only can give their opinion by what she tells them. People say it, and people say it, and they think it's because they can only go by what you tell them. And she let the rabbit out the bag. So no, please don't delete these videos. Don't delete your videos. I'm talking about I'm trying to force IDMR down your throat. I'm trying to press my beliefs down your throat when you just literally made 2 videos saying that I won't accept the truth and how you almost succeeded with getting me to go along with Jesus. And that's a lie, by the way. You know damn good well how that conversation went down that day. And there wasn't no thing when China sat there and said, threatened to leave me because you almost got me to go along with Jesus. That is not how that conversation went down. You know it. China was the one that was trying to also get me and you to make amends the entire time you were there because you kept kicking up shit. Let's not also talk about the amount of money I spent on you when you was here. I meant to say, when you was here. I asked you, what was it? Now, you ain't tell your followers that how that conversation came about. Now, I asked you, what was it that you and I can do to reconcile or get back cool again? Because China was trying to get me and you to reconcile in the beef. China asked you, what can you do? And I asked you, and you looked at her and you looked at me with this dead look on your face and said, give up the gay life and give her life back to Jesus. And, no, you said give her life to Jesus, not back to Jesus. But I was like, no, no. And follow you and do what? Carry on like you been? I'm going to drop everything and follow a woman that said to me, cowardly over the phone, fuck you and your lifeless ass kids. That's who you want me to follow? Drop everything I'm doing and follow you and your cult. Because you the one that's running the cult, not me. I don't have a cult. I don't even roll like that. What I need people to follow me for? To follow me. I don't have any need for a cult following. I don't have the mental capacity. You know how many times I was in this VA program, and they always is a mental health program. You know how many times they had a thing of running for officer, and they had president, vice president, secretary, and a couple of times they tried to vote me. I'm like, I don't want that responsibility. That's too much work. To be in charge of people, that's too much work. I couldn't even be in charge of my children. How am I be in charge of a bunch of grown ass people and monitor what a bunch of grown ass people do? That's you, boo boo. Like everything that you're doing, you inflict, like trying to flip and say, I do. Yeah, you let the rabbit out the bag. But you keep coming up with all these excuses. Oh, that's not going to work. You keep looking up in the air when you talk, looking over this way when you talk. Because you're not being honest. I just woke up, y'all. She talks shit about me, talks shit about my kids. Everybody knows that I was on an insane amount of heavy medication when I was out there in Atlanta. And maybe it was just a combined situation. And even now, I'm on an insane amount of medication. And even in that video in 2017, I showed the amount of medication I was on at that time of why I made the decision to give up my children. There's no way a single mother can raise, and I've been crying about that since New Year's Eve when she said that. There's no way a single mother could raise children by herself, 3 toddlers by herself, being on that amount of medication. They need somebody that's awake, because toddlers get into things. They need somebody that's awake, fully functioning, and be able to give them breakfast, lunch, dinner, fully clothe them, take them to doctor's appointments, and blah, blah, blah. But I was on an intense amount of medication, y'all. And those were just psych meds at the time. Now I'm on psych meds and a boatload of health medications. Notice I said I just woke up. I sleep weird hours on top of that and was developing sleep apnea. Like having back problems. I walk with a walker now. Like my health problems was starting to develop at that time and I wasn't getting the proper care. So, I mean, I knew what I was doing when I gave up my children. But it wasn't for no woman. Let me give you a fun fact. Since you weren't even in my life when I made the decision to give up my children, or when any of that whole thing went down, you weren't even in the same state. There was no woman in my life at the time I made the decision to sign those papers. Candy. So is that a mic drop for you or no? So I'm your twin sister, and you want to go hard for Jaguar, right? You want to go hard for your targeted individual friends. Are you gonna ask your followers to pray for me? I had a seizure. Thankfully, my COVID test came back negative, but and that hurted sticking that junk up my nose. But I had a seizure while I was using the bathroom about 6 o'clock this morning, 5:30 this morning. I lost a friend this morning or yesterday. She tried to get me out of money, and I got a little bit smarter. So, a couple of people that I know died. I've been mourning. You guys, people to pray for me? Nah, because I don't have feelings, right? You and Sean was the two that got it the worst in the foster system, in the foster care. Can you put your right hand on the Bible and say that? Didn't think so. They knew not to fuck with you. Because they know even if they did do something wrong with you, you're going to twist and over exaggerate shit and make it worse than what it is. If they did something to you or not. Just like when we were little, and it mainly started with the OCD started, or maybe the schizophrenia started, when I'm walking by the garbage can, and here it is, what you standing there peeling potatoes, and I'm walking by to throw something in the garbage can, and you go run and said, I hit you. No reason or nothing. You said I hit you, and all of a sudden I'm in trouble. I gotta get punished. And I had to eat that, because no talking back to the foster mama. You better not talk back. I wasn't allowed to cough. You ever got whoopings for coughing? You ever got a whoopings for having that post-nasal drip go in the back of your throat? Especially around the wintertime? No. When that situation with Matthew happened, and I got severely sick, and I was sick for about a month and a half. I laid in that bed and I suffered. 14 years old, he raped me. And you still don't tell your followers he raped me. You just say, oh, that situation with Matthew. And there is no illness to this day that can compare to how the fuck I felt back then. I suffered. I was in bed sweating. My tongue was white. Couldn't taste my food. She didn't take me to no doctor. Wait, I think she waited like a month and a half to eventually take me to a doctor or some shit. But she made me suffer. She ridiculed me, bashed me, called me all kind of horrors and stuff. Because you lied and said I had sex to prove that I wasn't gay. Then I had to deal with her saying the last night her mama could talk. She had her mama died alone and by herself, all because I decided to get raped. Her mama died alone and by herself because of me. She never said that to you, but you're on YouTube telling people that. Like I said, you're selling people lies on that Amazon book. But back to what happened. She told me 17 years later, because I started becoming rebellious to the abuse that my foster mom did to me. And she tells me at 4 o'clock in the morning when I come home one night, that's why Matthew gave me a venereal disease. And I said, what he gave me? She said, To this day, she never told me. So you mean to tell me the first time a man's penis entered me, I caught a venereal disease and I was a child? And I got beat for it? Because my own twin sister went to try to instigate the situation and said, no, she didn't get raped. She had sex to prove she wasn't gay. So now everybody in the family treating me like shit because of what you said. But you had it worse than me? Nah. But your aim is out to destroy me. People say, let her talk, just ignore it, let it go. But her aim is to see me go down for whatever reason. I talk about other people too. Not as much as you talk about me. And I don't know why you carrying on this narrative about me not loving and caring about my kids. Somebody that love and care about their kids gonna spend money and this shit hurt. They gonna get their name tatted on them. Oh, but you ain't know that either. I love my children more than I love you at this point. But it ain't even about competition. But at this point, I'm saying how I honestly feel. Because you know damn good and well that because my children are mine, if they were on fire, you wouldn't even spit on them. But go off.